Yeah, she imitates her. Yeah, she.
Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Shem Shabrakatah to all the brothers. Yahweh Shemal Atah Shem Shah to all the sisters. With the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, out of Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. What we teach is that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the 12 tribes of Israel according to the Bible, and we are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. So if you are not in the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General YAHANNA, and you're learning from some fake Israelite on the internet, it's sad to say, but you are not in the truth. You understand? And I know how much Israel is about fake stuff. You know, we love to get on people about having fake bags and fake shoes and fake Gucci, fake Amiri and all that. You understand? But we quick to jump in a fake Israelite group. You understand? So if you're not in the I.S.U.P.K under Commander General YAHANNA, you are not in the truth. You understand? If you got any questions, go ahead and type them into the chat, and I'll get to your questions. So, Lagi, I don't have no help today, so I'm in here trying to figure everything out on my own. They didn't let the old folks loose. Let's see. So I'm over here trying to get on a TikTok live. Say if you got any questions or comments, type them in the chat. Baba Kashah. No questions yet. Boom. Go live. All right. Let's hope I don't get banned on TikTok tonight. Got a habit of getting banned on TikTok. Let's see, I can't even see the TikTok. Hold on, let's see. All right. Well, all right. Shalom, TikTok. Shalom, shalom. Well. Let's see. I had to figure something out. Something got to give. Bear with me 1 second, Israel. Here we go. Boom. That's how we rocking. That's how we rocking. All right, shalom, 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 TikTok. If y'all have any questions on TikTok, go ahead and type them into the chat. You understand? And what I pose a question to TikTok, I asked TikTok, do we have to keep God's laws? You understand? In 2024, are God's laws still relevant? You know what I mean? Because, you listen to the Christian church, you understand? They tell you God's laws ain't relevant. They tell you don't have to keep God's law. You understand? But then they turn around and tell you to pay tithes. Well, where's tithes at? Tithes is in the law. So how is it that you don't have to keep God's law except for that one? You understand? We need to ask these questions of these Christian pastors. You understand? Because, they love to say that the Old Testament is done away with. You understand? They say the Old Testament done away with. Christ nailed the commandments to the cross. You understand? But Christ didn't do no such thing. You understand? He didn't do no such thing. You understand? Matter of fact, when we go to Deuteronomy, right? When we go to Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 1. Right? Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 1, it reads, says, and Moses with the elders of Israel commanded the people, saying, keep all the commandments which I command you this day. You understand? So in Deuteronomy, you understand, God gave Moses the commandments, and it's more than just the 10 commandments. He gave us the laws, the statutes, and the commandments. You understand? And of those laws, statutes, and commandments, there's 613 commandments that he gave us. You understand? So the Christian church, here's the thing about the Christian church. They love to tell people, oh, it's impossible to keep the law, right? It's impossible to keep God's law, right? Well, if it's impossible to keep God's law, then I have a question. Is it impossible to keep America's laws? You understand? How many laws does America have? You understand? Matter of fact, let's look that up. Let's look it up and see how many laws does America have. How many laws does America have? Let's see how many laws there are in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and all that. Let's see. All right. How many laws are there in the U.S.? Wow. There are more than 30,000. Hold on. So here we go. So Congress has enacted approximately 200 to 600 statutes each day of its 118, what does that say? Biennial terms, to more than 30,000 statutes have been enacted since 1789. 30,000 statutes, right? So there's 30. We're just gonna say 30,000 laws in America, but yet nobody has a problem keeping the laws in America. But it's 613 laws in the Bible, and they say it's impossible to keep those laws. You understand? Some of the laws in the Bible are in the U.S. Constitution. You understand? Some of those laws are in there. You understand? In fact, the Constitution, the history on how America even came up with the Constitution and how America even structured the American government was all inspired by the structure of the government in the Bible. You understand? I have an uncle, right? And he's a retired college professor. You understand? He used to teach at Howard University, right? And so he and I had a conversation. This was, I think I might have been an officer of 50 around the time. And the conversation that he and I had gave me a tremendous appreciation for the truth in the I.S.U.P.K. when we had this conversation. You understand? Because the class that he taught at Howard, and I never knew this until I came into the truth. Like, I've always known he was a college professor, but I never knew what he taught or the ins and outs of what he taught and things like that. But what he taught was, his class was called, and I might butcher it, but it was the beginnings and structural developments of, it was like the beginning, the structural beginnings of governmental societies, or something like that, something crazy like that. And the basis of his entire class was taught out of the book of Deuteronomy. You understand? And he and I had a deep discussion about the book of Deuteronomy and why that's the basis of his class. And he teaches mainly out of the book of Deuteronomy because the book of Deuteronomy breaks down the governmental structure of the nation of Israel as they came out of Egypt. You understand? And so, and that governmental structure actually, that's written in the Bible, actually became the governmental, the inspiration for governmental structures since the Roman Empire. So when you talk about like the British Empire, the English Empire, France, Germany, America, all of these new Western societies, all of their governmental structures are based on what's written in the book of Deuteronomy. Because prior to the Israelites, the nations didn't really know how to build an economy. You understand, that wasn't a brutal and okay, we just lost TikTok because my laptop, my little tablet just died. So Salakia TikTok. You understand? But to get back on my topic, and what I was saying was that the governments of the world, you understand, took a lot of their knowledge and understanding about structuring governments and structuring their societies based off of the structure that was applied by the children of Israel in Deuteronomy. You understand? You know what I mean? So, a lot of countries never had anything like a constitution. The fact that they even have a constitution and a Bill of Rights and the articles of whatever they call it, articles of confederacy or whatever, I don't know. But the thing is that all of that is inspired by the wisdom of what comes out of the Bible, such as when you look at the American government, right? The American government itself has a symbol, has a flag. It has, it has, people in place to do certain duties, to fulfill certain offices. But then you step down from the federal level, and then you have different states, and each state has a flag, has a symbol. You understand? Well, look at the 12 tribes of Israel. That's how our government was structured. It was structured based off of the 12 tribes. So our nation has a symbol. You understand? And each one of our 12 tribes has a symbol. You understand? Each tribe has a banner. You understand? And so our governments were structured around the 12 tribes. You understand? Just like how American government is structured around the 50 states. You understand? So each state has their ordinances, and then each state is subservient to the ordinances of the federal level. You understand? So all of the way a government is structured is all inspired. And we've always been, our culture has always been robbed of its, of its, brilliance and creativity and integrity. You understand? We've always been robbed of our culture. You understand? You got a man sitting in Israel calling himself a Jew. You understand? Well, you know what? You have a man sitting in America calling himself an American. You understand? When this land doesn't even belong to him. You understand? He should be a German American, a French American, or Polish American, but he don't call himself that. He calls himself American. You understand? And then calls the true American a Native American. You understand? So and then you look at even the military. Like me and Ashayala were talking about this the other day. But the United States military, if you look up pictures, right? Let me see if I can find a picture, right? I'm gonna show you something, right? I'm gonna find you guys a picture and show you how the children of Israel change the way war is fought on the battlefield to this day. Let me see. Let me see if I can find some pictures, right? I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you how stupid our oppressor is and how brilliant the 12 tribes are. Let's see. Excuse me. Let me see. Give me 1 second. All right. So I think this is a good picture to represent the point I'm trying to make. All right. Let me see here. How do I share the screen? Let's see. Give me 1 second, Israel. Give me 1 second, Israel. Present. Share screen. Screen sharing session with 2 monitors. I don't know what that means. All right, let's see. Boom. All right, boom. Here we go. All right, here we go. Booyah. All right, let's see what we're looking at. All right, Israel. So y'all see this right here, right? So let me see. Let me see if I can zoom in on it. It ain't gonna let me zoom. All right. So y'all see this picture right here, right? Y'all see all these pictures, right? Look at how they standing, right? On the battlefield now. These are all pictures of the battlefield. Now, these are, of course, reenactments. I'm not saying that, we was back in the day with DSLR cameras in the battlefield taking pictures. You understand? But you see how they're all standing in these straight lines, right? Look at how they're all standing in these straight lines, shooting guns and marching in the battle and all these things, right? So this is how war was fought for thousands of years. This is how wars were fought in straight lines. Yeah, one line up against another line, almost like an NFL game. Like you look at the NFL line, right? We're gonna type in a football lineup. Football line. Let's see. Football line. All right, so you see this right here. This is exactly what war was like back in the day. You understand? You got guys on one side in a straight line, popping shots at guys on the other side in a straight line. That was war, right? You understand? That's how every war was fought. In fact, when we go back in time, look up like let's see. Roman war. What's the word I'm looking for? Battalion? How do you spell battalion? Battalion? Roman war battalion. All right, so look at the Romans, right? So these are the Romans. These ain't the Romans. I don't think these are the Romans. These might be the Romans. No, I don't think them the Romans. But even so, I think these are like knights. No, these are Romans. All right, anyway, so you see how they're all in a straight line, right? And see, look at this right here. See how they all moving in a straight line, right? You see how everybody get the picture, right? Everybody gets the picture about all of these Romans lining up in a straight line for thousands of years. You understand? For thousands of years, this is how all wars were fought between these heathens until they came to North, Central, and South America, and they met the tribe of Gad. And when they met the tribe of Gad, they fought. They didn't fight them in a straight line. They didn't meet them on the battlefield face to face like dummies and sit there and shooting arrows while the other side shooting muskets. That's not what the tribe of Gad did. What the tribe of Gad did was they used military tactics and maneuvers to hit them from all different sides to where they never saw it coming. That's why the tribe of Gad was such a... You look at this right here. This is how war was fought back in the day. You know what I mean? Just stupid. You know what I mean? A line of men running into another line of men and hacking and slashing. May the best man win. That's how war was fought. You understand? But the tribe of Gad used a style of fighting that has never been seen before on this earth. And it was such a formidable force that, you know, our oppressor didn't just come in and just wipe us out because they were the more superior soldier. That's not what happened. You understand? They did not come in and just, you know what I mean, mow us down with guns. That's not even close to what happened. Majority of the Native Americans were unalive, not in war. Well, a good portion of us were, but the majority of us that were unalived in war is because we were dying of smallpox and still had the heart to stand up and fight with 103 fever and can't even barely stand on our feet. You understand? So our oppressor, when they met the northern tribes or the North American Indians, then they began to fight in a style that today is called guerrilla warfare. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Guerrilla warfare. So when you look at guerrilla warfare, right? Look at this. I think these are like Navy SEALs popping out of the water, right? Look at this. Wearing camouflage, wearing what they call foliage and things like that, painting their faces. You understand? All of these military tactics that you see the military engaging in today, all of this they learned from the North American Indians. All of this. They faced the North American Indians on the battlefield. Now imagine if the North American Indians had M4s and you know, I mean, if they'd have had a smallpox vaccination, you know what I'm saying? Esau would have showed up in America, and you know, you'd have never heard about him in history. You understand? But you see how when I type in guerrilla warfare, now you're seeing them riding in canoes, popping out the water. You understand? All of the military tactics that the military uses today, that style of warfare is called guerrilla warfare. You understand? And guerrilla warfare was learned from the North American Indians. You understand? The whole idea of wearing ghillie suits. And you notice that the military, they use face paint even. They get great green face paint, black face paint, brown, and they paint their faces. You understand? Because see, one thing that the North American Indians knew, they knew that there are certain shapes that the human eye can recognize in the wilderness. There are shapes that we're programmed to recognize, such as the human eye, the whole upper part of our face, the nose, the eyes, the eyebrows. You see that through the woods, you're going to recognize it like that. because your eyes are programmed to recognize it. So what the Native Americans would do is they would paint their face across their eyes to break up that eye line. They would put designs and things like that. And, you know, a lot of people think they was doing that just for decorations. No, they were painting their skin so that they could break up the ability to recognize it in the woods. You understand? Even though they would use different colors, you know what I mean, and things like that, it all worked the same. You know, Esau just took it a step further and started trying to blend in with the environment. You understand? But all of these tactics that the government uses today is called guerrilla warfare. All of these modern tactics. If you're not lining up on a straight line, like, let me go back to this. Hold on, I don't know if y'all even see that. If y'all saw that, let me go back to the studio. You know, if you look at see, we go back and look at revolutionary. We can go back and look at this right here. This was warfare until Esau ran into Gad. This was warfare all the way up until the Revolutionary War. They just had different weapons. They're using shields and spears and bows and arrows right here. But what's different between what they're doing here and what the Revolutionary Army was doing? The American Revolution was they were doing the same thing. But then when they ran into the North American Indians, they was marching, thinking they gonna meet a band of Native Americans that's gonna be lined up doing the same thing. And next thing you know, they get all the way into this area, and the North American Indians start attacking them from the sides. You understand? Because the North American Indian knew they had these superior firepower, but we have superior military tactics. You understand? And their superior military tactics made the tribe of Gad a force to be reckoned with. You understand? The only reason why the tribe of Gad fell was because of the disease that our oppressors spread amongst our people. You understand? I've been reading this book about Andrew Jackson, right? Andrew Jackson, his face is on a $20 bill. You understand? Let me pull up Andrew Jackson real fast. Show y'all Andrew Jackson, right? Look at the $20 bill. If you don't know who Andrew Jackson is, he's on the $20 bill. This devil right here. You understand? This fool. This man right here is on a $20 bill. Look like every Caucasian you ever seen, right? So he's on a $20 bill. Andrew Jackson is famous for his military campaigns against the tribe of Gad in the southeast, the tribe of Gad and the tribe of Reuben. You understand? But his victories against our people, you can't even contribute it to him alone, because there was another man in history that you don't really learn about in school. Let's see, Hernan de Soto, right? This man right here, Hernan de Soto, right? So this guy right here is the reason why Andrew Jackson was so successful against the tribe of Gad. This filthy bastard, right? This filthy bastard here. And I spoke about him before in our classes. And what I brought out about Hernan de Soto is I don't know if you recall, but I did a class about pork, about how the Native Americans of North, Central, and South America did not have a history of eating pork. So all of the Hispanic tribes, they was not eating pork before our oppressors showed up. The reason why we know for a fact that they were not eating pork is because the pig itself did not exist in North, Central, and South America until this devil showed up. This devil right here is responsible for pigs being brought to the mainland of America. And this devil right here was a Spaniard. His name was Hernando de Soto. And what De Soto did was he was kind of like a Hernan Cortez. You know, they had similar motivations, but around that time period, America was looked at like free game. You understand? It was looked at like free game. Like if you can go out there and you can wipe these natives out, then you're gonna have all that land to yourself. You're gonna be responsible for all that land and and all those riches. Like imagine today, right? Imagine if you owned the state of Georgia, the state of Virginia, the state of Florida, the state of Alabama, the state of Mississippi, the state of Tennessee, all the way up until this day. So like it. And think about all the money that's been generated in those states since the 1500s. Think about all the money that was made since the 1500s. Now think about how rich your family would be today. We're talking about through slavery. You understand? Through Jim Crow. And now in modern day, with all the college football and all the NFL and all the NBA teams and all of the finances that are funneled from these places, imagine if you were the owner of that land to this day. You understand? That is the level of wealth these men were chasing by unaliving Native Americans. You understand? And taking their land and then putting black people in slavery. You understand? And this devil, he took it as an opportunity. He came over here and he unalived hundreds of thousands of Native Americans in the Southeast. You understand? But in his military campaigns and conquering the North American Indians in the Southeast were not his greatest detriment to our people. His greatest detriment was the amount of disease that spread amongst the North American Indians because of this man and the men that followed him. You understand? Millions of Native Americans died in the Southeast because of this man. So much so to where it altered the face of the Native American culture. The remnants of the people who survived from those diseases, you understand, ended up sprouting back up and making a bunch of different tribes. So you used to have like maybe one or two major tribes in the Southeast, you understand, which mostly made up of the tribe of Reuben. You understand? And what this devil did was he unalived hundreds of thousands of them with his hands and then unalived millions of them with the disease that spread because of him and his men. And then after Native Americans were crippled by disease, after that crippling of disease, then Andrew Jackson went through and waged war against the remnants of the tribes in those areas. So after they was already wiped out, destroyed economically, this devil came in to kick us while we was down. You understand? That's what this filthy devil, this filthy, disgusting devil did. You understand? So what we going over today is American history. I guess we just a history class today. You understand? Because we going into some dark history. You understand? So Andrew Jackson, you understand, this fool right here is on a $20 bill. You understand? And that $20 bill, you understand, cost the tribe of Reuben everything. You understand? He cost us everything, man. Him and Hernan de Soto. You understand? They came and killed off. He came and killed off a bunch of brothers and sisters who were struggling to get themselves back on their feet. And while they're trying to get back on their feet, they're still battling disease. They still battling, still fighting, even with that level of destruction. Still trying to just stand for the integrity's sake. You understand? This devil comes along, you understand, and wages war with us. You understand? And the reason why he waged war with us, you understand? Now he'll say it's because of hostile Native American tribes, but it wasn't that we were hostile. You understand? Even after our destruction, we tried to be peaceable. We still tried to be peaceable with these devils. You understand? And then you get into the time period where, you know, right around here is where you get into the time period of James Adair. James Adair comes along after Hernan de Soto. Where we at? Where's Hernan de Soto? This guy. Hold on, let me pull him back up. So Hernan de Soto, you understand? He comes along. He does what he does before James Adair comes around. And James Adair comes around. He's like, now think about this, right? Now think about this, because a lot of Native Americans, you understand, talk about how they don't, you know, when you talk to a lot of Native Americans, they don't recall ever having a history of knowing that they were Israelites, right? But here's the thing. Majority of the Native Americans today, especially in the Southeast, are remnants of tribes that were destroyed twice over by our oppressor. So you had the military campaign of Hernan de Soto, and Hernan de Soto was man, listen, this devil, you know how you got the term get down or lay down? That was this level's MO. Hernan de Soto. He would pull up to the Native American tribal land. You understand? Pull up to the tribes and go to the chief and say, listen, you could either give us some of them women and go ahead and serve us, you know, be our servants and, you know, be our soldiers and, you know, help us on this campaign, or we're going to kill you. We're going to unalive you. You understand? And many of our people chose war. A lot of our people chose war with Hernan de Soto. You understand? And Hernan de Soto and his men would wipe us out. You understand? He was a brilliant. Now this devil was a terror in the South. You understand? He would use all type of tactics. He would burn people's houses down, burn down the whole. You know what I mean? He would do all types of evil things. You understand? He would send pigs. Like he everywhere he went, like this devil right here, Hernan de Soto, right? So he's responsible for what you call today the wild boar. So the wild boar so like the wild boar is because of this man. So what this man used to do is, you know, Esau, he loved pork. You know, pork is like chicken to black people. You know what I mean? Black people, we love chicken. You know what I'm saying? Chicken is in our habitations. You know what I'm saying? But these devils, especially the Spaniards, like the Spaniards, they love pork so much, man. They have this thing. I can't remember what it's called. It's like a pig leg. Hold on, let's see. Dried It's like a dry aged pig leg. Let me see if I can. This thing right here. This is basically a raw pig leg. It's been dry aged. And what Esau does, he slices it like in the little thin little pieces and eat it piece by piece. It's like a delicacy to them, right? So this is famous in Spain. So the Spaniards, they love pork. They love that pig. The Spaniards, not Hispanics, but the Spaniards. So in the Spanish culture, pork is heavily ingrained in their culture. So these devils kept pigs with them. That was kind of like their survival thing. You know what I mean? Like they would do these military campaigns, these conquests through North, Central, and South America. So when they're caravans, you know, you got to think like back then, they used to have to travel in caravans. And when I say caravan, I'm talking like, imagine 10,000 men. And of those 10,000 men, you have horse and buggies, and then you have a line of pigs that are all tied together. You understand? And those pigs are for the food supply for all of the men. And so they would go from place to place, and they would dwell there for a time, and then, you know, they would graze the pigs, just, you know, like a little farm or whatever. And then when they're ready to move on to the next place, they would take a small supply of the pigs, and then they would leave the rest to themselves. They would just leave them there. They done wiped out the land, wiped out every living human, every living Native American that lived in the land, and they would just leave the pigs to roam wild. So that's how the wild boar actually came from the domesticated pig. So he would leave pigs everywhere he went. He would just leave hundreds of thousands of pigs. You understand? And they would just be left to themselves and just roam free. You understand? So that's where the wild boar came from. You understand? From this devil. And so they would travel around from place to place and would carry those pigs with them. You understand? And so another thing that they would do is they would send these pigs into these people's lands, and you understand? And these pigs would spread diseases in those lands. They would spread outbreaks of all different types of diseases. You understand? So Hernando de Soto was on some biological warfare. You understand? He was setting forest fires and things like that, burning people out of their lands. He was doing all types of evilness down in the South. And who was going to stop him? You understand? But one thing that happened to this devil is he died off in the South somewhere. Him and all his men died off of disease. You understand? Because they were so disease-ridden themselves. You understand? So they died off in the woods somewhere. You understand? All the disease. So they never even got to you know what I mean, reap the reward of all the bloodshed. You understand? And this is just one famous devil. Imagine all the devils that you never hear about that went off and did the same thing. You understand? There was hundreds of these types of men that came over here. You understand? They came over here doing all types of evil. You understand? Wiping people out of the lands just to take their lands. You understand? It was all types of heathens like this that was doing that. This is just one. You understand? And the remnant of the people who survived what Hernando de Soto did, you understand, later, you understand, were encroached by the colonists, which is, you understand, the Andrew Jackson and them, John C. Calhoun and them, right? And so right before this time period, you know, you had men like James Adair. James Adair was a salesman. Hey, shalom. So James Adair was a salesman, right? And he spent a lot of time trading goods with the North American Indians. So this was after, land was encroached on. They had to fight off Native Americans just to take the land to make the 13 colonies. Because there was Native American tribes that lived even in Charleston, Hilton Head, and all those areas in South Carolina, Savannah, Georgia. All of those lands were occupied by the North American Indians. You understand? All of those lands were occupied by the North American Indians. You understand? So let me see here. Let me see if I can find a map, right? See here. All right, so boom. Oh man, that was a good one. Let me see. View image. Well, let me view it. Oh yeah, that's great. Hold on, wait. Let me change the present stop. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second. Boom. Here we go. All right, so this right here, right? So this right here is what I'm talking about. So you see this pink area down in here? So this pink area down in here, all of that makes up the tribe of Reuben, right? All of that area right there makes up what you call the tribe of Reuben, right? So they have what they call Creek Indians. So they weren't called Creek, you know what I mean? That's a name that was given to them by oppressor. You understand? But you see these tribes here, right? Atatkapa, the Natchez, Choctaw, Biloxi, the Tonka, Chickasaw, Yamasee, Cherokee, you understand? And all of these tribes down here, right? Seminole, Okeechobee, you know what I mean? All of these tribes, right, were at one time one tribe. You understand? And and all these names that you see, the smaller names, even Cherokee, you understand? All of these smaller names were the remnant of what they call the Creek Indians. So the Creek Indians were wiped out. That whole tribe that lived in that whole area was destroyed. You understand? They were destroyed. You understand? And the remnants of what rose up was the Cherokee, you understand, and all the others, the Chickasaw, Choctaw, you understand, the Seminole, all of those tribes were what rose after Hernan de Soto came through and wiped this whole entire area out. You understand? And these are the remnants of what came after the Creek Indians. You understand? And then these remnants, with the exception of this portion, these remnants were what was wiped out or what was pushed back by Andrew Jackson. You understand? And by John C. Calhoun and Andrew Jackson in them, right? So, and that pushback, they pushed them back, basically pushed them back and took control of the South Carolina and South Carolina, North Carolina, and parts of Georgia. You understand? Because what was happening was the tribes, even after what happened with Hernan de Soto, they were trying to live peaceably amongst Esau. They were trying to live peaceably with them. You understand? And so much so to where they started actually doing trade with them. You understand? Esau showed up and they established their colonies and try to establish their government and secure their territories, and they were doing trade with them. You understand? And then though, and in that trade, you understand? It's Salaki, give me 1 second. All right, so lucky about that. All right, so these lands down here. Oh, I can't remember what point I was at. So James Adair, he was a salesman, right? And he sold ivory. You know what? I never even looked up what ivory was. What that is? I don't even know what the hell ivory is. Only ivory I know is ivory soap. What is ivory? I guess it's bone. Yeah. What is it? A bone? Ivory is a hard white material from the tusks of elephants and teeth of animals. Okay, so I guess they sold them like bone and ivory, whatever they use ivory for. I never even looked it up. But so he traded ivory, and what he would do was he would take ivory and trade it for buckskin amongst the North American Indians. So with the North American, so when he was so the North American Indians, of course they when they were the Creek Indians, when they were all that one tribe, at that point they had yet to be invaded by an oppressor, to be influenced by an oppressor. They still maintained their culture, but then after that first destruction, now you have remnants of that culture trickling down to these other tribes. So even the trickling down from these other tribes, you understand, they began to lose some of their culture and their custom. You understand, and started to get into a little bit of superstition and worshiping, the wind and the colors of the rainbow and all that other crap. You understand, worshiping the land and all that. You understand, but it was never so. The ancient North American Indians worship the Most High.
Right.
You understand? But even James Adair, you understand, he witnessed amongst the Cherokee, mainly amongst the Cherokee Indians. You understand that what he witnessed a lot of them actually keeping the high holy days and the feast days and wearing the fringes. And he witnessed so many customs and cultures of our people that he was convinced that the North American Indians were descendants of the Israelites. So as he tried to argue, so he goes back and he tries to go to the South Carolina government to try to basically get an order of protection for the North American tribes. He was like, listen, man, we need to help these people. We need to preserve these people because I think they're descendants from the Jews. I think these are Jews that we're dealing with. And so as he's starting to, most high Christ. So as he's starting to, what's the word I'm looking for? Lean on the side of the North American Indians, for their protection and for their well-being, all of a sudden the government revokes his license to sell. So he's no longer allowed to go and sell anything to the North American Indians. So what they later start doing is now they're no longer licensing salesmen to go and trade things like ivory, things that have actual use to the Native Americans. Now what they're doing is they're pushing things like rum. Right. So they were going to the North American Indians and they were selling them rum for buckskin. And the North American Indians was like, okay, I guess we can roll with that. You know what I'm saying? And then as they started to trade and run with the North American Indians, eventually alcoholism started to rise. Right. You understand? And you got to think about it. It makes sense. You know, I always wonder, I wonder why they end up turning to drinking. Even around that time, they were free in their own land. What made them turn to drinking? You understand? But now it makes sense when I learn about what happened to the Creek Indians. You understand? Because the Creek Indians, they were a great and powerful nation in the Southeast. You understand? You see how much of an area they controlled. Like even when you look at these maps, right? When you look at these big names, these are big tribes that were destroyed by disease. You understand? Creek, Shawnee, Cheyenne, Comanche, Apache. You understand? Shoshone. You understand? Blackfoot. You understand? A lot of these Native Americans, let's see, Mi'kmaq. You understand? Like a lot of these tribes, you understand, were destroyed by disease and by destruction from the Spaniards. You understand? Because they sent men in these different areas and they had military campaigns where they were just wiping people out, just trying to take over the land. And a lot of the remnants, now I'm not saying every one of these tribes had a similar history, but mainly the Creek, the Shawnee, you understand, the Dakota Sioux, you understand, a lot of them had similar histories. It's the Iroquois, the Mi'kmaq, you understand? I know a sister who's a Mi'kmaq Indian, and she and I was talking much about the history of the Mi'kmaq Indians. And that even their history, they only take it back so far. You understand? Because just like how black culture, we take it back to slavery. Well, guess what? The North American Indian, the Cherokee culture goes back to Hernan de Soto. Right. You understand? Now let me say, because I know a lot about Cherokee history. Cherokee history, now they do take it back a little further, but the detailed history cuts off at around the time of Hernan de Soto. You understand? And the only history they speak much on beyond that was that their people came here from across the Great Pond. You understand? But nevertheless, so we're talking about people who have already gone through a great destruction. They've already come out on the other end of a great destruction. So our oppressor begins to pump rum into these areas. You understand? And so when you're dealing with a people that's destroyed, you understand? I remember the general brought it out the other night. You know what I mean? When you're dealing with a people that's destroyed, you understand, one of the ways that they keep us under control is by giving us drugs and alcohol. You understand? A lot of us turn to drugs and alcohol to cope with our destruction. You understand? So this is what. Go ahead.
It's like I got a video. I don't know if you've seen it on Facebook, but it was a North American Indian who was speaking on how the oppressor had stole this land, and that the people that should be ruling this earth is on the reservations. I got it on my Facebook if you want me to play it.
Go ahead and play it.
All right, it's like something, you guys.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and do what you do.
I can share the screen. I had to bring that out because it was so heavy of what the brother was saying, and I feel like that shouldn't go over our heads, because what he was saying was heavy. Let me see if I can find it. I used to get yeah. See if I can find it.
Do what you do, Hebrew.
There you go, right here. Share the screen.
All right. Can somebody charge this up for me, Baba Kashad? I can get back on TikTok.
Okay.
We had some views on TikTok. The numbers went up.
TikTok.
That thing was popping, then that joint just died. I had like 30 viewers.
We have kids.
All right, go ahead.
kids, we have houses, we got everything. That we're not savages, that we're not killers, that we don't hate people, that we have our own story, we have our own culture, we have kids, we have houses, we got everything, because there's no respect for Native Americans in the United States. The real owners of this country, they still live in reservation in places where they're not supposed to. These people should be in charge. These people should be well taken care of, but we're not. That we're not savages.
That was it, sir.
Hey man, what he's saying is heavy.
Damn right.
You understand? And it's beautiful that he feels that way.
Right.
You understand? That brother who made that video, he should come into the I.S.U.P.K. You understand? Because in the I.S.U.P.K, you know, to speak to what that brother said, you understand, he's absolutely right. There's no respect amongst the North American Indians here in this land. You understand? And guess what? If there's no respect here in this land for the North American Indians, then you already know that there's no respect for the North American Indians anywhere in the world.
Right.
You understand? But I got one thing I want to say to that brother, right? To the brother who said that. You understand? I want to let you know, brother, that it ain't just the land that you're supposed to rule over. You understand? It's the entire world that you are supposed to rule over. You are supposed to stand side by side with blacks and Hispanics, and you are supposed to rule over this entire earth, because that's what God intended.
That's right.
You understand? That's what God intended. When Christopher Columbus showed up to this land, he said that the North American Indians were the most peaceable people that he had ever come across.
Yeah.
Now, how could the most peaceable people be the most savage people? How can you in one breath call us a peaceable people, and then in another breath call us a savage, call us a murderer,
right,
call us godless, when we taught you how to wash your filthy behind?
Right.
You understand? We taught you how to brush your goddamn teeth. We taught you how to put seed in the dirt and grow food out of it while you was digging for gold and dying in a ditch, eating the bodies of your constituents. You understand? Go ahead.
I was gonna just go in. They said when they was down there in Charleston, down there on those little ports that they heard before the Gadites came to save them, they said they kept finding the people that would die inside those little fortresses that the people from England were building. They said when the people were dying, they said the other soldiers inside of that compound would go to the bodies and find the hands missing and the feet missing, because they were eating their own feet and hands from the dead bodies.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's a book called Virgin Land that goes into a lot of. You understand? And that book, Virgin Land, really opened my eyes up to a lot of history that's been covered over about the North American Indians. You understand? Like that brother said, we have houses, we have families, we have children. You understand? Well, guess what? You understand? Before our oppressors showed up, you had cities.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You had flourishing ports off the coast of South Carolina and North Carolina and Virginia and Georgia.
Right.
You had a port city off of the coast of South Carolina. You understand? A port city. They said they pulled up to the port city, and they thought they pulled up to Atlantis. They thought they had found the mythical island of Atlantis when they pulled up to that city. You understand? And then when they came through the city, they said that the city had running water, had flushing toilet sewage systems. You understand? That the people, they actually said that the North American Indian people that was out there, they said that they was so living so advanced that they was using breath mints. You understand? They use breath mints. You understand? Where we at? Oh, okay. No sweat. Yeah, I mean, it's the wild. Is
it if I pull something out this book about so-called?
Go ahead.
And this is out of the book called The Mysteries of the Ancient Americas, The New World Before Christopher Columbus. This is on page 34, and then I was going to read a little bit on 37. But on page 34, it says, Captain, painter of the Madden, It says, he writes, I set out alone, unaided and unadvised, resolved to rescue from oblivion so much of their primitive looks and customs as the industry and ardent enthusiasm of one lifetime could accomplish, wrote self-taught artist George Catlin. He spurned a legal career in Pennsylvania to brave the frontier and paint the little-known Plains Indians from 1830 to 1836. His naive but heartfelt and detailed portraits and action scenes would earn him fame in America and Europe, while introducing urban sophisticates to such tribes as the Sioux, Pawnee, and Comanche. But his ardent enthusiasm was reserved for the unusual man who lived in the upper regions of the Mississippi River. Not only did this driven romantic find the woman exceeding pleasure and beautiful, he also came to believe that their customs and looks clearly indicated an origin different from all the other tribes, concluding that they have sprung from some other origin that the other North American tribes, he reported, that they believed themselves to be the first people created on earth, and were certain that they had imperfect knowledge of the great biblical flood, the fall of Adam and Eve, and the appearance and death of a savior. Catlin wrote that the horned headdress of chief forebears resemble Old Testament Hebrew regiments.
Good night. You understand? You know what I mean? So that just goes to show you right there. And what year was that? Around the 1800s?
That was 1830 to 1836.
So in 1836, right? So by this time in Native American history, we had already been faced destructions already by the Spaniards.
Right.
You understand? Because there were many Spaniards that came through and spread disease and war all through North America.
Right.
You understand? And brought down a lot of the major tribes. You understand? And so much so to where you have remnants of different tribes. And that just adds, that goes back to what I was saying about how, you know what I mean, a lot of us lost our culture, you know what I mean, through that destruction. And then remnants of us held on to that culture.
Right.
So what he's bringing out is just to back up what I was saying earlier about how remnants of us were holding on to that culture even after that destruction. And then some of our cultures, they had remnants of the culture, you know what I mean, but they didn't quite have all of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they all wore the fringes, but not all of them might have wore the fringes with the border of blue. You know what I mean? Maybe, you know what I mean? But some tribes, they would wear everything priestly, just like you UPK.
Right.
You understand? You got something else you want to bring out?
Yo, this book crazy.
Go ahead and read it.
This book crazy. It says page 36. It says in 1650, one answer was published. The Hope of Israel by Manasseh ben Israel, a rabbi in Amsterdam. He told a Spanish Jewish traveler, Antonio de Metzinos, whose Indian guide on a South American trip greeted him with Shema Israel. Hear, O Israel.
Salaya, if I could, what book is that?
This book is called, I remember I bought this book back in the day. This is called The Mysteries of the Ancient Americans.
Okay, so that same story right there is in Lost Tribes and Promised Lands. Salaya, I ain't mean to stop you. Go ahead.
Cut. And this is just more fuel to our fight to show you know what I'm saying? But Salaki, it says, furthermore, the God reported that many people of the same origin were living in the highlands near Quito, Ecuador. Manasseh dedicated a volume of his works to English Parliament in the hope that Jews would be remitted to the land. Biblical prophecy was deeply involved in the rabbi's motive, for he believed that the Messiah would not come until the Jews were scattered to all the ends of the earth. Oliver Cromwell received Manasseh in England and discussed his views, but the rabbi's cause had limited success. General readmission was not granted. Through some Jews were permitted to live in London to establish a synagogue there. Meanwhile, other religious interpreters were becoming confused with the aims of amateur anthropology.
That's the like if I could.
Cut.
Oliver Cromwell,
Yeah, that disgusting.
you understand? Now that devil right there, like the fact that his name is getting brought up, you know what I mean? Y'all should look up Oliver Cromwell because, you know, real quick, to give you a quick little history lesson, TikTok, King James, the writer, the organizer of the King James Version Bible, was a black man. You understand? King James was black. And all of the kings and monarchs of England were black. They did not become white until Oliver Cromwell came and overthrew the government. I'm not sure what year, but Oliver Cromwell overthrew the government, and he unalived was it King George, who was King James's his son and heir to the throne. He unalived King George, and King Charles, his name was King Charles II. King Charles II, his nickname was Black Boy.
Right.
And if you look up a picture of King Charles II, you understand he looked like Snoop Dogg back in the day. Like I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna pull up a picture for TikTok so they can see what I'm talking about. Right? If you could you pull up on the class and show a picture of King Charles II, Black Boy? I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show y'all something. TikTok like that. Everybody on TikTok like to act like we don't know what we talking about. Yes, King Charles II.
Okay.
King Charles II, Black Boy. They called him Black Boy. King Charles II. Let's see here. I got bad phone service. TikTok. You know what I'm saying? All my I.S.U.P.K haters, y'all lucky now. Hold on. All y'all white supremacists about to get real sick. Give me 1 second. King Charles II.
Of course, they're gonna try to whitewash it.
Yeah, 'cause I ain't gonna lie, all I see is what we try.
You don't see the original one with the. Oh, yeah, damn, they did whitewash that boy.
They white. Yeah, all you see is white. Oh, open eye. Nice.
Now, why would they have a white man and call him Black Boy?
Trying to Google King James. King. What's his King Charles?
Why would they call a white man Black Boy? Here you go, right here, TikTok. King Charles II with the perm in his head like Snoop Dogg.
Oh, what you type in, sir?
Black Boy. That's in a book called Moorish Kings of Europe. You know what I mean? Moor as in blackamoor. You understand? Because the Moors, it was the Moors, not meaning like the Moors like the Moorish from the Muslim Moors. Moor was a shortened term for blackamoor. A blackamoor was basically like a black person. You understand? So the term Moor from back then, or the Moorish kings of Egypt, meant the black kings of Egypt, because that's where the term Moor comes from the term blackamoor. You understand? You got one up? All right. So Oliver Cromwell killed King George. You understand? Removed his head from his body for treason. That's what the charge was when he overthrew the government. So he removed King George's head for treason, and he told King Charles that you could either leave or you can go into slavery. And that's what he told all of the rest of the black people that lived in England and Ireland and Scotland. He said that you could either leave or you could go into slavery. And some of us left, but most of us went into slavery. You understand? And went into and were taken down into what they call the slave coast in Africa. And we were imprisoned in the slave coast in Africa, and then were brought to many parts of the Caribbean. You understand? Which is why a lot of our Caribbean people, when they were freed from slavery, guess where they went to? They didn't go back to Africa. You understand? They went back to England because that's where they came from. You understand? You know what I mean? I used to wonder that myself. Like, why is there so many Jamaicans in the UK? What's the need to go back to Jamaica? What's the need for the Jamaicans to go back to the UK? You understand? But guess what? When you look at a lot of the Jamaicans, you know, a lot of the Jamaicans have Irish and Scottish names. You understand? Irish, Scottish, and English names. You understand? And you know what I mean? Because that's where they came from. That's what they knew.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when you listen to a lot of the Jamaican language even has remnants of that English style of talking.
Right.
Like it almost fits. Like when I talk to some brothers, like the Benjamite brothers in the UK, like to someone else that's from the UK, they talk like with a Benjamite accent.
Right.
But to us, you know what I mean? It's like the way Caribbean people talk, you know what I mean? It's very close and it's very similar. It's got similarities to English language.
Right.
And it's heavily influenced by the English. Because even what's the dude's name? Bumbleclot, right? So Bumbleclot, you know, that was a name. That was a man's name. And the Queen of England issued the name Bumbleclot as a curse. Like she made it a law that his name was a curse word. So that's where the name Bumbleclot, you know what I mean? That's why it's like synonymous with cursing. We're saying swear words, Bumbleclot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I mean? But nevertheless, you know, I just wanted to bring that out about Oliver Cromwell. So Oliver Cromwell was the end of black what's the word I'm looking for? The end of black monarchy in the world. Oliver Cromwell was the end of it. He brought down the last black king in the world. The last of our people to sit on the throne. He brought down the last one. You understand? And we haven't had a king since. Well, we've always had YAHANNA. You understand? But I'm talking about in the world politically.
Right.
You understand? So Oliver Cromwell ended black rulership in Europe. And that was the beginning of white supremacy over all the earth. You understand? Go ahead, Salaki. I didn't mean to cut you off, sir.
Okay, it says, meanwhile, other religious interpretations were becoming confused with the aims of amateur anthropology. If the Jews had indeed survived their existence on the American continent, might prove that their God of Israel is a God of truth and righteousness, and that whom he loves until the end. Whether or not most observers were seeing what they wanted to see, or what a sincere faith gave them reason to hope to see. Travelers in many parts of North and South America began to discover Old Testament customs and practices, ritual calendars, purification rites, circumcisions, flood myths, sacrifices to God, the veneration of a tribal ark. Native Americans were daily acting in ways that Europeans had previously encountered only in biblical stories about the earliest Jewish prophets and their families. Numerous paragraphs were put forth in a book written in the 18th century by James Adair, a trader in Indian territories for at least 40 years, and chants he heard among the Choctaw and the Chickasaw and their neighbors he found the name Jehovah according to Adair, the Indian phrase for the dead or lost, and Het Kanak also meant gone to Canaan. And the word for winter, Korah, was borrowed unchanged from the Hebrew. He reported that when the Indians met at night to gladden and unite their hearts before Yahweh. What?
Before who?
They say Yahweh.
Before who?
Yahweh.
Before who?
Yahweh.
Before Jehovah.
Yahweh.
Before Hashem.
Yahweh. They spelling it wrong, but it sounded out. It's Yo-Hiwa. They say Yo-Hiwa.
Right.
But it's Yahweh.
Before Allah.
Yahweh.
You understand? Hey, look, the I.S.U.P.K. been told you that what the Most High name was. You understand? The most high name is Yahweh. And we got reference right here of the North American Indians using the name Yahweh. As a matter of fact, when you read in the book History of the North American Indians, even James Adair says the same thing. And he says that in a lot of the Native American chants, that some of the chants they say that's using the name Yahweh. You understand? They'd be like, hey, Yahweh, hey, Yahweh. Because what they're doing is they're dancing and praising the Most High. You understand? So the North American Indians, you understand, we didn't just this didn't get come out of thin air. You understand? This truth was sent down to this earth by the Lord. You understand? The I.S.U.P.K. was set up by the Lord. And we were set up by the Lord, and we would and here's the thing, and we learned the ancient Hebrew. Right. We teach the ancient Hebrew. You understand? Not no modern Hebrew. The so-called Jewish man, he don't even know the ancient Hebrew.
Right.
You understand? He doesn't even know the ancient Hebrew. And everybody, and you know, and people try to discredit us and say, oh, we not pronouncing it right. But there's Harvard scholars, you understand, completely separate from the I.S.U.P.K. Right. You understand that they even corroborate the way we pronounce the Hebrew. Right. You understand the way we pronounce the ancient Hebrew, because there's no vowels in the Hebrew. Right. You understand? So everything is pronounced ba, ga, da. You understand? Yahweh, Yashar Allah. You understand? Go ahead.
It's like, so I want to bring out that part that he read.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, kind of. So when it says, Shema Israel, it says, "Hear, O Israel," right? Mm-hmm. In the ancient, what it said, the mystery of the ancient Americas. So our people spoke that language here, and they know that scripture, "Hear, O Israel," in Deuteronomy 6 and 4, when it says, like, it says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one." In Deuteronomy 6 and 4, that's that same scripture that they're quoting. Mm-hmm. And in the Hebrew, just like it said that we do the Hebrew, it's Shema Yasha Allah Yahweh Allah Hayanawa Yahweh Akkad, which means hear, O Israel, like listen.
Right.
The Lord our God is one. And that's the same thing that you just brought out just now.
Right. And here's the fact about the North American Indians, right? So there's many tribes of North American Indians. Many of them have different languages, right? Many of them have different languages, right? So here's the thing: from North, Central, and South America, prior to our oppressors showing up and distorting history, all the tribes of North, Central, and South America did commerce with each other. They would sail from North America to South America to trade goods. You understand? And guess what? They would do business with each other. Right. And this story right here that he's bringing out, you know, when this was witnessed, you understand, they were traveling These, I think it was an Edomite and I think it was two Edomites, and they were traveling with Native Americans, and they were going from one land to another land. You know, they were crossing over a river, going from one tribe to another tribe. They were basically trying to meet another tribe. Yeah. And when the two tribes met, you understand, it said that the two tribes greeted each other in their ancestral tongue, and they compared their ancestral tongue to Hebrew. And what they're doing is they said that when they listened to what they were saying, this is what it sounded like. Right. And so it's not saying that they said Shema Israel, yada yada yada, because what they actually said was Shema Yasha'Allah Yahweh Alahana Ayahayanawa Ahawa Shalak. Shema Yasha'Allah Yahweh Alahayanawa Yahweh Akkad. That's what they said. And they said, man, that sounds a lot like, you know, Shema Israel. You know what I mean? It sounds a lot like that. So what they actually were saying was the ancient Hebrew, the Lashawan Kodash. You understand? That's what they were actually saying. You understand? And so there's a tribe in El Salvador that still to this day speaks the Lashawan Kodash. They still to this day speak the Lashawan Kodash. To this day. You understand? They still to this day. It's their ancient language. Because they, you know, not every tribe got rid of the Hebrew. Right. You understand? And a lot of tribes, they have words that are still the same words in Hebrew. Like I can't remember the tribe. I don't want to say it and butcher it. But there's tribe where, you know, in ancient Hebrew, the word for man is Ayash. Right. You understand? So there's Native American languages where they're in their language, the word for man is Ayash. You understand? It's like if somebody give me a paper towel or a towel or something. You understand? So, you understand the North American Indians, you understand their history and their culture is deeper than, you know, painting the colors of the wind. Right. You understand? Their history is deeper than that. You understand? And their history dealing with this oppressor is deeper than just, you know what I mean, them showing up, because it was a process, and they didn't just lose to our oppressor because of warfare. Because our people were superior warriors, like what we brought out earlier. You know what I mean? The northern tribe of Israel, you know what I mean? They were a force to be reckoned with on the battlefield. Right. You know what I'm saying? There's stories of the North American Indians putting so much fear in our oppressor that some of our oppressors would run. They out there on the battlefield and they thinking that the enemy is coming from straight ahead like all the other enemies do. And then next thing you know, they brothers is dropping left and right and they don't see nothing. They don't even hear nothing. They just shoot, 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 shoot. Next thing you know, just you know what I'm saying? They take off running. You know, they ain't never seen, like y'all saw. Now TikTok didn't see. TikTok's, you know, I think it's my truck right there. So like I ain't mean to throw that shot on camera. I got it.
Oh, you had it.
Yeah. So like, but yeah, so like if you could check, just make sure. Yeah. So yeah, so a lot of them devils will just run. You know what I mean? Can you imagine that you didn't already walk 100 miles. You holding your little one shooter, your little one shotter musket. You know what I'm saying? And you think you thinking you've been a soldier for 20 years, and you thinking, you know, all the battles, you know, we line up, we shoot, I take a knee, I reload, and hope I don't get shot, and I stand back up and I shoot again. You know, I'm built for that. Right. And then next thing you know, you walking through the woods, thinking everything's sweet. Next thing you know, You feel this warm water splash on your face, and you turn and you reach up, try to wipe the warm water off, and you look at it and it ain't water. You look over to the left and you see half your battalion gone. You know what I'm saying? And you looking and people just dropping left and right. Some of them took off running. You understand? Now, just because they took off running don't mean they made it. You know what I'm saying? But some of them took off running. You understand? Because they thought that the North American Indians was some type of, you know what I mean? Many of them thought we was some type of monster in the woods. You understand? Which we was. You understand? And so that whole guerrilla warfare, like we brought out earlier, those tactics were learned from the Northern Kingdom. In fact, their ability to track people, like tracking, all of that was learned from the North American Indians. Tracking animals, like Esau loved to hunt, right? Esau loved to hunt. He hunt for sport. But the North American Indians, they hunted for resources. Right. You understand? And but they were the most skilled hunters to walk this land, and they taught Esau how to hunt. You understand? And then Esau just took it, and you know what I mean, and everything he learned, everything he knows since he came here. You understand? He was like a child when he showed up. A child just wanted everything and didn't want to work for nothing. You understand? That's how our oppressor is. He's like a child. He wants the world, but don't want to work for it. Right. You understand? He don't want to work for it. You understand? He wants to unalive you for it. You understand? And listen, man, don't be like our oppressor. You understand? Don't be like our oppressor, man. Right. You understand? Because our oppressor, man, he doesn't want to work for anything. You understand? And he loves to call us as black people lazy and say that we don't want to get a job. You understand? Well, listen, man, you didn't want to build a kingdom. You understand? You didn't want to fix your land. You didn't want to do that. You understand? What you did was you came over to our land and you unalived us and took our land. Right. You understand? You didn't want to build your own country. You put black people in slavery and made them build it for you. You understand? Why don't you get a job? Right. You understand? Why don't you go? He love to tell us pick ourselves up from our bootstraps. Right. You understand? He love to tell us that. You understand? Sit up there and call our sisters welfare queens. You understand? Listen, man, you should take every dollar out of that United States Treasury, every brick of gold, and you should hand it over to every black woman in America, every black man in America, and every black child in America. You understand? Every Native American on every reservation. You should take all of that gold and all of that money, and you should hand it over to the 12 tribes.
Right.
You understand? Because you took all of it with blood. You understand? And with that, I'm passing the class over to preaching officer now, y'all.
It's like you done preaching officer, man. Understand? Heavy class. And we're gonna read the I.S.U.P.K security analysis. We are the I.S.U.P.K. Start out of 1 West 125th Street out of Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother and sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share the cares of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After this 6 months, after these 6 months, they will be. It's like I'm gonna read it over again. It's like. And new brother and sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother and sister. There's another 6 months in which a brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 months period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry, tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi 3, 8 through 10 means 10th in the Hebrew, ma'ashra. 10% of every penny of every increase the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. That's whatever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. We got the Day of Atonement. Good night. So if you new in the school, you understand, trooper, young man, or new sister, and y'all ain't never did the Day of Atonement, Lord be with you. You understand? But we got the Day of Atonement this Friday coming on the what is it? The 11th. All right, so this Friday on the 11th, prepare your souls, prepare yourself, prepare your stomach. You understand? If you ain't never did it, you understand this is a day to afflict your soul, afflict yourself. You understand? So if you ain't never did it, you understand, you know, talk to your camp leader. Of course, if you a child, this is not for you. If you somebody who has health problems or on medication, this is not for you. You understand? Or pregnant. This is not for the people who have health problems or on medication or kids. This is for the people who is able to do it. The Lord will understand. You understand? All right. This is the 10th day of the 7th month, Friday, the 11th, October 2024. You can find this in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 27 through it's like Leviticus chapter 23, verse 27 through 32. It's like remind Akim and Aqua to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. I'm going to salute out the brothers and the sisters. And the Israel Amadu Shabbat, Amaju, Barak, Yahweh Shemel Shabbat, Hazamatah. We're going to turn the face of sisters. And the Israel Amadu Shabbat, Amaju, Barak, Yahweh Shemel Shemel Shabbat, Hazamatah, class is business. It's like